This is Paul Heckman from Memories Incorporated with the Butter Queen. What in the world is a Butter Queen, you ask? Well, let me tell you. Barbara Cope was born in Hunt County, Texas, back on March 19th, 1950. She attended Bryan Adams High School in East Dallas in her early teens. Barbara was just 15 when she first saw the Rolling Stones perform in Dallas, was immediately thunderstruck. Cope said she became a groupie in 1965 while at a concert at the Dallas Memorial Auditorium. She toured with Traffic and Jimi Hendrix before joining up with Joe Cocker in 1970. She appeared in a 7-minute segment of the 1971 Cocker documentary film Mad Dogs and Englishmen. I don't care about average boys, she said. I just wanted to meet musicians, she told LA Times in 1972. She was like a tiger, sneaking backstage, figuring out ways around the stiff security that rock groups had in those days just to meet the band. We used to sneak up fire escapes and get by the fuzz, she remembered later. Cope was, without a doubt, the most popular groupie of her day, even more so than Pamela DeBar from the movie Almost Famous, based on Cameron Crowe's working as a teenager for Rolling Stone. How famous is Barbara? Musician and star of the Partridge Family, David Cassidy, and his autobiography, Could It Be Forever? My Story, aptly described her as legendary. Cope moved to Los Angeles at the start of her groupie career to follow bands there, according to the Dallas Morning News. She hooked up with Jimi Hendrix, went on the road to Traffic, and Joe Cocker. Led Zeppelin frontman asked about Cope on stage during a concert in Fort Worth, Texas in May of 1973, and dedicated their song, Dazed and Confused, to her. How did she get the nickname the Butter Queen, you ask? Apparently it came from her habit of using Land O'Lakes butter when performing a particular act. The Butter Queen is also memorialized forever in music by some of the rock's most famous folk. That's something other groupies and just about anyone else could have only dreamed about. Joe Berkman, the Rolling Stones road assistant back then, said he remembered encountering Cope at a motel in Texas during the Rolling Stones' 1964 tour. He said Cope announced, "I've got a pound of butter in my purse. Where's Mick?" The Rolling Stones song, Rip This Joint, for their 1972 album, according to Dallas Morning News, frontman Mick Jagger sings, "Won't You Make My Day," down to New Orleans with Dixie Dean, across to Dallas, Texas with the Butter Queen. If you were a rock star or close to one, Barbara the Butter Queen sort of went with the territory, David Cassidy said. Cassidy said later, "I'd rather spend an evening with her than in the living room of the Partridge Family." The LA Times said that Barbara retired from her groupie career at the ripe old age of 22 and moved back to Dallas. In Dallas, there used to be a challenge, Cope said. Buddy, a music magazine, put Cope on its front cover in 1973 and referred to her as Dallas' leading groupie.
Can I read you a little note out that somebody's passed us? Please pass this to the Moody Blues. Please could you play one for Ricky Farr, because he's worked so damn hard, even if he had happened to be our groupie. Thank you.
He's a slag from way back.
Yeah. If anybody's heard of the Butter Queen, I think he's been on stage for the last 2 days. So, song especially with Ricky Farr called Melancholy Man.
The one thing she would never tell out loud involved her nickname. Winfrey asked her how she got the name Butter Queen, and Cope wouldn't say, not even to Oprah. "Those who know, know," she said, "and those who don't wish they did."
Barbara Butter Queen is here with us in the audience, and you're a very famous groupie. You've done a lot.
That's right.
And why? You just because you love music?
I love the boys in the band.
I want to take a look at this clip so you can see what we're talking about here.
You know, Barbara's kind of a legend. You definitely want to know her. And I thought about it for a few minutes. I thought, yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, everybody, imagine all the people that have been here before me. I mean, I can't be the only guy not to meet her. She walked in, she went, right. Okay. I want David, I want him and him. Trisha, go ahead. Trisha went, I'll take the horn section. And I'll take who's the fat guy in the back? Yeah, I want you too. Yeah, you.
So yes, 2,000. Do you know how many you've had in the past?
Oh, we're probably neck and neck. Oh my gosh.
Tonight, we're learning that an elderly woman killed in a Dallas house fire was a notable figure in the 60s music scene. Flames erupted around 6 this morning along Newcomb Drive on the city's east side. Deanna Zoga is with friends who knew the woman.
The fire started before dawn. By the time neighbors heard it, they say there was little time to help anyone inside, though they tried anyway.
He didn't even put on any shoes, no sweater, nothing. He just ran out the house.
Veronica Flores' dad was among the first to run across Newcomb Drive to check on the two elderly women inside.
As soon as he pushed open the gate, he got her out, but there was smoke everywhere by that time, and the fire escalated quickly.
So quickly, there was little of the house left. A woman in her 90s made it out with singed hair, but alive.
La vi ya nerviosa. Ella ya estaba gritando que la ayudaran.
Others say they tried to help too, but were pushed back by the flames. Neighbors say the woman inside was Barbara Cope, and a friend who grew up with her tells us Cope was part of music history. Decades earlier, she'd earned some degree of celebrity as a groupie in the 1960s rock and roll scene. She was known by a rather risque nickname, the Butter Queen, a term that was even referenced in a Rolling Stones song.
She was so sweet. She was funny too.
But in more recent years, Flores just knew her as Barbara, a kind neighbor and loving friend.
She would always constantly say, "I love you," and it's gonna be hard.
That was our Deanna Zoga reporting. Dallas Fire Rescue hasn't yet figured out the cause of that fire.
By the mid-70s, Cope hadn't retired so much as retreated to her hometown, showing up at the rock clubs like the college student wandering the hallways of Rowan High School. Old friends from the way back said she still called on occasion, sometimes to ask for an old photo or to share a story. The Butter Queen, rest in peace.